I did keep going back to the good old prototype Lancer as it's now known. That's your chainsaw Lancer. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel, Dragon Supernova here. Today I'm going to talk about my time in the Gears of War E-Day beta, what my thoughts on it were, and if I enjoyed it or not. Big elephant in the room, for many I suppose, is the new movement system. The removal of the roadie run into this sort of mad dash that you have. I actually really enjoyed it. It felt fresh. Gears has been relying on the same mechanics for the past 20 years. The only exception to that is the tactics game, which is a completely different genre, so that's understandable. This new Mad Dash feels a lot faster and more manoeuvrable, and from a perspective of the characters' ages, makes sense as well. They're a lot younger in this game, by about 14 years. Actually, exactly 14 years. E-Day is 14 years before Gears 1. So having a younger Marcus and Dom able to move a lot more freely in what is really heavy armor makes sense. Also, the new sort of mantle system as well. Not having... You still press A to go into cover, essentially. And from there, rather than pressing A to go over something, now you press Y. And when you're running up to something, you can just press Y to vault right over it. The closest thing to that was probably in Gears 4 and 5, where you would hit A, well, you'd hold A to roadie run, and then as you got something, you'd hit B to mantle over it really quickly. And, you know, kick people in the face. That was always fun. But yeah, I've really enjoyed my time with that. The addition of a jump on the Y button as well is something that takes a bit of getting used to. I do enjoy it though. It opens up the levels in ways that previously haven't been on Gears. You know, it adds more verticality to the game. It allows them to add in sort of sections where you literally have to jump over a gap to get to where you want to go. I really thought that was quite interesting and fun. As for the weapons, keep going back to the good old prototype Lancer as it's now known. That's your chainsaw Lancer. The ammo counter are your mod slots. These can be unlocked by getting parts, which you get from doing the side activities in Horde mode. So the Lancer, the chainsaw, just as great as I remember it. You do have the classic sort of going from the shoulder down execution. When an enemy is down, you've kind of got that as well. However, the new animation is to place the chainsaw across the spine of the Locust, and you'll have your character pressing down quite hard against it. I thought that was pretty cool. Nice addition. I did load that up with mods, that weapon. That's the only weapon I've modded so far. So on it I had some incendiary ammo, which activates when you get a perfect reload. I had an extended magazine, which gives me 3 rows of ammo. I'm not sure on the exact count now, instead of the standard 2. I had a mod for the chainsaw, which would drop small amounts of ammo whenever I used it, which could come in handy in a pinch. The Mark I Lancer keeps the same executions as it did. It feels quite powerful, and I've not yet really played too much with it. You've still got your classic roadie run execution, you've got your sort of swing and chop off the head execution. That's all fun. Nasher remains, as far as I can tell, the same as ever, but I'm not the most competitive player when it comes to Gears, so trust the PvPers more than me when it comes to that. You've got the classic torque bow as well returning. I had a lot of trouble with that one, mostly in telling if it was actually doing the explosive damage or not. I couldn't really see the explosives unless I had a perfect active reload, and then I got a little explosion. Sometimes it felt like it was doing the explosions, other times it just felt like it was hitting the locust and not doing much else. That's my 2 cents on that anyway. You've the long shot returns, my favourite weapon, and still is. The one difference I did notice with it is when you go to hit the aim button, it goes straight into scope mode, which was never on any of the other gears at all. But yeah, I always loved the long shot, and I probably will in this game as well. You've got the boom shot returning as the heavy boom shot, so rather than like being able to carry it all the time and just pick up ammo for it, this you get sort of 6 or 7 shots of boom shot ammo that can be rapid fired. That can be used to close E-holes, really handy against some of the bigger enemies as well, and something that you're going to use sparingly, because it only drops, as far as I can tell, from the boomers. And speaking of, they're bigger than ever. Other sort of weapons, you still get the snub pistol. That really felt quite powerful to me, but that's maybe because I played it when there was sort of effects in play that meant it was more powerful while everything else was less powerful. That's something you get as well now. The new weapons, I quite like the Ripper actually. That's a locust sort of submachine gun. It felt quite powerful, and yeah, it ripped through enemies. You get a perfect active on that and it starts firing 2 rounds at the same time rather than just 1. Really enjoyed that. And it had a nice little visual effect when you were doing that as well. What else was there? You got the incinerator. That looks like a modified version of the Breacher, which is also back. But this needs a charge, and it will one-shot a grub. So it fires an acid, I guess it is. Looks like what the new enemy, the Bile Frog, spits. Yeah, really enjoyed that. That's a great weapon and does a lot of damage. You have the Gore Hook. That also is a boomer specific weapon, so it drops from them. It's kind of like a big hook on a chain that will pull smaller enemies towards you and outright kill them, usually. For using it against boomers, it'll start ripping them to shreds and stop them from doing whatever. You do have, as I've mentioned, some new enemies. Ones I've seen were the Bile Frog, I'm going to call it. It jumps about kind of like the Bouncer enemy from Gears 4 and 5, although it now spits acid at you. And that has a close range and a long range attack. I found the weak spot is when it opens its mouth. If you can fire at the glowing green crap that's in there, you'll take it down much quicker. A new standard locust is the Charger. I don't have much footage of the Charger, but it will literally charge you, knock you down, and start punching the absolute bejesus out of you until you are either saved by one of your teammates or it kills you. There's not much you can do other than mash X to try and keep yourself alive till someone saves you. You've got the standard returning enemies. I did do battle with a few corpsers. They are an invasion boss, they call it. So that will take pretty much all 3 teams of 4 people to take it down. You try to make it retreat into its E-hole, and then you'll pick up a charge and throw it in. You do have to be really close to the E-hole for that to happen, though, so that's fun. I've also seen Cedars, they're back, and spitting out more nemesis than ever. The only weak spot I could find for them was on the front of their face, and again you're trying to make it retreat into its E-hole. The one that I really hated, and I knew I would hate, in a good way. It's more freaky now than it ever was. Is the Reaver? It's bigger, uglier, more powerful, I would say, and definitely more maneuverable. This thing will fly. It'll drop boss level enemies and take off. It'll buzz about you, shooting at you two guys on its back shooting at you, and it now can stick to walls rather than just sitting on the floor, not being all that intimidating. It is now really intimidating and so much fun to battle, but terrifying at the same time for a Gears game anyway. I do hope that they lean more into the horror aspect, since this is a new enemy to the COG. As for my time with this game, I have found that during the beta at least, matches were found really, really quickly. I'm guessing that's because it's got a really high player base. Did have a few issues where people would just randomly drop out, whether that's they're leaving or their connection's going or something else is happening, I don't know. But it was annoying when it happened, but they are replaced by bots. The bots, however, could use a bit of an AI upgrade. They tended not to try and save me much unless I got really close to them, and they didn't really follow me about the map. They would just battle whatever was in their way. And when I'm trying to do something on my own, that got annoying. I was having to rely on other teams coming to my rescue to, do that. The locusts themselves are feeling more intelligent than ever, I will say. Apart from the chargers running up to you and beating the crap out of you, they move about a lot more, they run about more, and they try to flank you more than ever. The closest I ever had in that was when I was playing Gears 4, and one of the little buggers come up and planted a frag grenade on me. Thanks for that, you little shit. Don't have footage of that. Hey, it was a fun story. It was a fun time. But yeah, they will swarm you. It's been interesting. The beta is reopening openly tonight as I record this, or today at some point, I can't remember. I do hope to see more of you on there, and less of the leaving the matches. I did get a chance to go into some of the PvP stuff as well. I was never the biggest PvP player, I'm going to be honest. Not since about Gears 2 have I played it religiously, where I got pretty much every achievement going for that, other than a couple of Horde ones, and Inconceivable. Oh god, I hate to see what Inconceivable is going to be like on this. Oh, because every Gears has had Inconceivable to touch up on. My Mark 1 Lancer, or the prototype Lancer, sorry, that at times felt like a pea shooter. Like, I would empty my entire extended clip into just a regular Locust, and it would only just go down. That, I think, needs addressing, and the torque bow as well. Bigger explosions, please. Apart from that, it's been fun. It's been great playing with random people again. I did get a chance to play with a friend who fell down an e-hole. Sadly, I didn't capture that on camera. What I have seen as well is enemies falling down e-holes. That's quite funny. They come out of them, they fall back into them. I've had boomers do that, in fact. But yeah, this has been a fun experience for me. I've not played a beta in a long time. I am looking forward to seeing what they do with the full game, what new maps they come out with, and, just experiencing a new Gears for the first time. I hope you all enjoy it as much as I did. With that said, take care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of the beta.